Good evening. Welcome to Kenya News Update today. In a story that has ricocheted from the Olympic ice rinks of Milan Cortina to the political arenas of Washington and Sacramento, a simple invitation has ignited a fierce debate about sports, politics, and gender. The U.S. women's ice hockey team, fresh off their stunning gold medal victory at the Winter Olympics, declined an invitation from President Donald Trump to attend the State of the Union address. The move was swiftly applauded by Pro-Siebel Newsom, the wife of California Governor Gavin Newsom, who posted on social media platform X. Clearly, they prefer arenas where women are actually respected, as they should. This comment, a direct jab at the sitting president, has transformed a sporting achievement into a political flashpoint. Tonight, we dive deep into the layers of this story, examining the Olympic triumph, the political reaction, and what it reveals about the current state of American discourse. We'll present multiple perspectives, analyze the numbers behind the team's success, and explore the implications for athletes navigating the intersection of sport and politics. Let's begin with the moment of glory that started it all. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated American triumph. Last Thursday, February 19th, 2026, at the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics, the U.S. women's ice hockey team faced their arch rivals, Canada, in the gold medal final. The tension was palpable. For 3 intense periods, the two powerhouses of women's hockey battled on the ice. The score was tied 1-1 deep into the third period. Then, with just under 3 minutes remaining in regulation, forward Taylor Hayes found the back of the net. The U.S. took a 2-1 lead and held on for a historic victory. This win was particularly sweet, coming just days after the U.S. men's team ended their own 46-year gold medal drought. The dual victories created a wave of national pride. The team's performance was a masterclass in statistics. Over the course of the Olympic tournament, the U.S. women's team scored a total of 28 goals across 6 games, averaging 4.67 goals per contest. Their defense was equally formidable, allowing only 7 goals total, for a tournament-leading goals against average of just 1.17. Goaltender Erin Frankel posted a save percentage of .942, stopping 113 of the 120 shots she faced. The team's power play operated at a 25% success rate, converting 5 of their 20 opportunities with a player advantage. These are the numbers of champions. Following this victory, tradition dictates a White House invitation. President Donald Trump, in keeping with this custom, extended an invitation to the team to be honored guests at his upcoming State of the Union address, scheduled for March 3rd. The State of the Union is one of the most watched political events of the year, with viewership typically exceeding 40 million Americans. For many athletes, it's considered a high honor. However, through their team spokesperson, the U.S. women's hockey team politely declined. The official statement cited scheduling conflicts and the need for immediate post-Olympic rest and family time. There was no mention of politics in the official communication, yet the decision was immediately interpreted through a political lens. This is where Pro-Siebel Newsom entered the fray. Her post on X did not merely support the team's decision, it framed it as a moral and political statement against President Trump. The phrase, arenas where women are actually respected, was a clear, pointed critique, echoing long-standing criticisms of Trump's rhetoric and behavior toward women. The post was liked over 250,000 times and shared more than 50,000 times within its first 12 hours online, demonstrating its viral reach. To understand the weight of Siebel Newsom's comment, we must examine the context. Pro-Siebel Newsom is not just a political spouse, she is a documentary filmmaker and founder of the Representation Project, a nonprofit that challenges gender stereotypes. Her work often focuses on media representation and gender equality. Her husband, Governor Gavin Newsom, is a prominent figure in the Democratic Party and is frequently mentioned as a potential future presidential candidate. The Newsoms are staunch political opponents of Donald Trump. Therefore, her comment was seen not as a casual observation, but as a strategic political attack from a leading Democratic family. It weaponized the athletes' decision, turning their desire for rest into an alleged referendum on the president's character. This framing was instantly controversial. Supporters of the president argued it was disrespectful to politicize the athletes' achievement and their personal scheduling choice. Critics of the president saw it as a justified call-out. The team itself was suddenly caught in a political crossfire they did not explicitly choose. Let's now hear the debate. We present 2 distinct perspectives on this incident. First, the perspective that applauds Siebel Newsom's stance. Proponents argue that in the current political climate, silence can be seen as complicity. They point to a history of statements and allegations against President Trump regarding women. They contend that the athletes, as powerful role models for young girls, have a platform that extends beyond the rink. By declining the invitation, even for logistical reasons, and receiving public support from a figure like Siebel Newsom, they send a subtle but important message about aligning with values of respect and equality. This side argues that sports and politics have always been intertwined, from the 1968 Black Power salute to Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. They see Siebel Newsom's comment as giving voice to a sentiment many Americans share. Furthermore, they highlight the team's own advocacy. The U.S. women's hockey team has a storied history of fighting for equitable pay and treatment, famously threatening to boycott the 2017 World Championships over a wage dispute with U.S. Hockey. Their fight resulted in a landmark 4-year deal that significantly increased their compensation and support. For this group, the team's legacy is one of activism, making the political interpretation of their decision fitting. Now, the opposing perspective. Critics of Siebel Newsom's comment argue that it was a cheap political shot that unfairly dragged athletes into a partisan fight. They emphasize that the team's statement was apolitical, focusing solely on rest and family. By imposing a political narrative onto their personal decision, Siebel Newsom, they argue, exploited the athletes for partisan gain. This side contends that the White House invitation is a non-partisan honor for American excellence, a tradition spanning decades and administrations. They point out that numerous sports teams, including the 2018 U.S. Women's Olympic hockey team, have visited the Trump White House. They argue that pressuring athletes to make political statements or interpret their actions politically creates a divisive environment where celebrating national achievement becomes impossible. This perspective also questions the fairness of the attack, suggesting it prejudges the president's respect for women without acknowledging the historic number of women appointed to high-level positions in his administration, including key roles in national security and the cabinet. They see the incident as another example of the toxic cancel culture and the unnecessary politicization of every aspect of American life. Beyond the domestic U.S. debate, this story resonates on the world stage, including here in Kenya. It raises universal questions about the role of athletes in society. Should they be purely entertainers and competitors, or are they also moral leaders? In Kenya, we've seen our own athletes navigate similar pressures. Our world champion runners are often seen as national ambassadors. Their statements or silences on political or social issues are scrutinized. The incident also highlights the global nature of political discourse in the age of social media. A comment made in California about a Washington invitation concerning an Italian sporting event is dissected in newsrooms from Nairobi to London to Tokyo. The metrics of social media engagement tell their own story. Analysis of the online conversation shows that in the 48 hours following Siebel Newsom's post, mentions of U.S. women's hockey and Trump together spiked by over 1,200%. Sentiment analysis of a sample of 10,000 related posts showed a nearly even split. 48% of the conversation was supportive of Siebel Newsom's comment, 45% was critical, and 7% was neutral. This indicates a deeply polarized reaction, mirroring the broader political divide. What does the data tell us about the team's monumental achievement? Let's visualize their dominance. Their offensive output of 28 goals was the highest in the tournament. Defensively, their 7 goals allowed was the lowest. This combination is the hallmark of a complete team. Furthermore, the economic impact of their win is significant. Historical data from previous U.S. women's team gold medals in 1998 and 2018 shows a subsequent surge in youth hockey participation among girls. After the 2018 win, U.S. Hockey reported a 15% increase in registered female players under the age of 12 in the following year. If that pattern holds, we could see thousands of new young athletes inspired to take up the sport. The team's success also has commercial value. Endorsement deals for star players are expected to increase by an estimated 30 to 50% in the coming months. Their jersey sales in the week following the gold medal game broke records for a women's hockey team, surpassing $2 million in revenue. These numbers underscore that their victory is not just symbolic, it has tangible effects on the sports ecosystem. So, where does this leave us? The U.S. women's hockey team is in an unenviable position. They achieved the pinnacle of their sport, only to find their celebration framed by a political controversy they did not explicitly seek. Jennifer Siebel Newsom's comment ensured their decision would be seen as a political act, whether they intended it or not. This creates a dilemma for modern athletes. In a hyper-polarized environment, is any action, even inaction, inherently political? The team's careful, apolitical statement suggests they wish to avoid this very trap. Yet the trap was sprung by an external political actor. This incident is a microcosm of a larger American reality, where the cultural and political spheres are increasingly inseparable. For viewers in Kenya and around the world, it serves as a case study in how national symbols, like Olympic champions, are contested and claimed by different factions within a society. The athletes themselves are often the pawns in this larger game. As we conclude, let's reflect on the core issue, respect. Newsom's comment hinged on the word respected. It implies a binary choice. The White House under President Trump is an arena of disrespect, while the Olympic stage is one of respect. This is a powerful but simplistic framing. The reality of respect for female athletes is complex. It involves equal pay, media coverage, investment in facilities, and protection from abuse, issues the hockey team has fought for long before this presidential administration. Their gold medal is a testament to their skill and the support system behind them. Whether a White House visit constitutes respect is a matter of intense debate. What is clearer is that the team's legacy will ultimately be defined by their prowess on the ice and their advocacy off it, not by which political figures praise or criticize their scheduling decisions. The puck has been dropped on this political scrum, and it's unlikely to leave the ice anytime soon. For Kenya News Update today, this has been a deep dive into the collision of sports, politics, and power. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today.